Hey, 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 hey! Welcome to Common Spurs TV, where we talk about everything Spurs. Today's program is like a continuation of the last 3 weeks programs we've had episodes, if you like. We've had 3 managers in the space of 3 months. An interim
Okay, so now it's
replacing an
situational.
interim.
We've lost everything.
What is going on? Is there a crisis at Spurs, or is just a set of unfortunate circumstances? We are previewing rather, the match between Tottenham and Manchester United taking place at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Thursday. It's my birthday actually on that day, so I'm praying that those guys give me a good birthday present. It's been a torrid last few weeks for us. So yes, looking forward to a positive result after the debacle at Newcastle. Yes, joining me today is a guest from the other side. Seyi is joining us alongside one of our regulars, Ben. We will look at all of the sides to this, and in the meantime, come on, you Spurs. Welcome back. Come on, you Spurs TV. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so if this is your first time here, subscribe to our channel. If you haven't been here before, like it so that you can continue to receive updates, and whenever we go live, you also get notified if you click on the bell button at the bottom right hand side of your screen. Right, today we are previewing the match between Tottenham and Manchester United. It hasn't always been an easy fixture for either team. Over the years. So it's been, for a lot of years we had. You might have said Man U sort of seemed to have it relatively easy against us, but the last few years have been it's been probably even more even than in previous years. So it's been like, sometimes we go to Old Trafford and win, which was unheard of for many years, But lately, things seem to have improved a little bit from Tottenham perspective. However, this season, the previous leg, or the others, the first time when we played you at Old Trafford, you guys ran out 3-0 winners. Even though, on the face of it, the scoreline may have flattered you guys, but yes. But I think Ben got cut off there. Let's see what's happening. Ben, are you back? I think Ben is back in the back end. He will join us very, very soon. Yes, today we've got 2 guests with us. One from Manchester United, Seyi. Seyi, welcome. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are
I
you?
know you're on to, it's like enemy territory here, but it's not quite like enemy territory like when you have your Blues guys across the road from up the road. Your noisy neighbor, as you guys like to call them. Yes, Seyi, Manchester United. You've got a new manager, first season in charge, and he seems to be doing a good job. He's won a trophy already, and he's in another final. Come on, can it be better? It's like good times are back again at Old Trafford, isn't it? But before you answer that, let's just introduce Ben. We'll bring Ben in and just say, Ben, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, thanks. Very, very glad to be here, previewing this match between those guys up north, wearing red, and us. So I'm glad to be here.
Beautiful. So we have Man U coming over to us, and like I was saying earlier, and they've got a new manager who seems to be getting the team to be firing on all cylinders. Bar a few blips along the way, you probably would say that you guys have done relatively well so far this season. People will point to the setback you had at Anfield, but I guess it happens to every team once in a while when you have a really dreadful results. So how would you rate your season so far, Seyi?
Well, I'll say, honestly, at the beginning of the season, our expectations for the first season was just getting the top 4. That we've got a trophy is a bonus. I remember being at the first match, and I thought, hey, what's going on here? But we've sort of stabilized since then. It's been a good season so far. If we're able to sort of win the FA Cup and get in the top four and stay in the top four, then it'll be quite a wonderful season.
And yet, you're not thinking that getting the FA Cup will be a bit of a being greedy, if you like.
Well, I'd gladly give up the FA Cup if I am assured of the top four. But I think that it's a cup final.
Isn't that interesting though? I mean, you rather give up the FA Cup for a top four. Now, I know that many teams would. I mean, okay, let me put it this way, right? We haven't won a trophy since 2008. That's 14 years, 15 years and counting, right? And it's not happening this season either. So it's probably going on to the 16th year for next season. Now, if you ask a lot of Spurs fans, what would you rather have, top four or a trophy? Ben, what would you say? You're a Spurs fan.
I'm a Spurs fan. I'd say top four. Normally, in normal circumstances, I say top four. But now, to win anything, well, you're talking about next season. This season, we can't win jack. So if you're talking about in general, what would I prefer? In a normal season, I prefer to finish top four because this trophy is a trophy. Yeah, our cabinet has been empty and we never die. So it's good. It's good that we get top four and get money to improve the team so we can go and win stuff. Because where we came from, where Tottenham has come from, we've come from a long way. All these teams like Arsenal and Man United, they're always beating us down, trying to tell us that we're upstarts with this. Yeah, we agree. I agree we are upstarts, but we're making a name for ourselves. We're trying to get up there and drink water, drop cup. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to run with the big boys.
The cup has dropped before you even drank the water, man.
I'm not sure how many Tottenham fans will agree with that assessment, but I think that's quite a frank and honest view, if you like. I mean, being what you might call a bit of a realistic perspective of where Tottenham are in comparison to a lot of teams who have occupied the top echelons of the league, and that comes from two things, a number of things. Obviously, a bit of history of winning, right? It's sort of built in the DNA of a lot of teams. Secondly, you have money, and obviously money attracts a lot of top players. And then you have, of course, with the history, I mean, again, people tend to want to go to those clubs that have done well in the past, regardless of how well they're doing now. And Manchester United, I mean, probably come on, one of the top, I mean, probably, if not the biggest club in the world right now, in terms of, what's it called, money and everything else you can add to it. So it's a rich history of, I mean, winning a lot of trophies. So having said that, we on our part, Ben, are you here? So we on our part have this this season that is, I've never come across a season like this in all my years of supporting Tottenham, and I'll tell you why. Because at the start of the season, you had this situation whereby Mr. Daniel Levy, who everyone and his dog calls all sorts of names under the sun for the way that they perceive that he runs the club. However, Levi goes out and buys all the players that the new coach wants, before preseason. It's never happened before. We always buy our players after the preseason, It has every player that you want under the sun before preseason, right? Spends close to £200 million. And we're thinking, okay, we've got to have a good season this season. Had a very good start to the season, first few matches, top of the league. And then it just went downhill, downhill up to maybe fourth until he left a couple of months ago. But there was so much negativity going around the whole club. There's so much negative press. And when you sort of knuckle it down and think to yourself, how did we get here? Ben, help me here.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one because if I knew the answer to that, they'd be paying me the 15 big ones. But they're not. And you're right. We preseason we spent money. We had a wad of money, but look at it this way: we bought a striker where we never thought we'd get a striker. We got Richarlison, who's not scored in the Premiership, and he was scoring. He was banging in goals for Everton, but he's not banging in goals for us. What do we say?
Injured. He's not injured, so he hasn't really played that much. You know.
Well, okay, that's true. So that counts. So that's that one. Bissouma, less said about that, the better. Bentancur injured. I think our season turned when Bentancur just disappeared, because Bentancur, he brought something else to our midfield that we were lacking, especially with this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I love him. I love Højbjerg, but man, the days that he just, like the last match against Newcastle, he was just. I mean, he has it in him to have an off day, and he I don't know. Maybe he's annoyed that they got rid of Conte, because they said he was Conte's conduit into the club, blah blah blah. But that's no excuse for the shoddy football.
Yeah, but okay,
or lack of football that he displayed against Newcastle.
Yeah, but sorry to interrupt you, Ben. People will say to you that these days football is a squad game, right? Every team will have injuries over the course of the season, right? Either to key players, fringe players, or that's why you have a squad. And when you have a squad, if one player goes out, others come in and fill in the gap. Is it that the depth of our squad is not that strong enough to cope with, key players going missing, or what is the problem? Because if you think about it, okay, Bentancur goes injured, bring on somebody else, let him stand in,
We have bodies to stand in, but not of the caliber of Bentancur. Now, at the beginning of the season, we had 2 players for each position. That was great. Two players for each position. But what happened? Let's look at the back line, for instance. We had injuries, so we had to play Kulusevski. We had to play Perisic on his own down the left wing. We saw what was happening to him in the season. He was just losing it. He can't defend on that side. And then we have injuries to Ben Davies as well.
Davies, right? Mm-hmm.
So so that's talking about the left wing. We're in trouble there. Talking about the fullbacks. The centre backs. We have Dyer. Who's Dyer? He's very Dyer. And then we have Romero. We have Romero. Kuti. We have Kuti. Kuti. I mean, people look at him and think, how did he get Defender of the Year in Serie A? And his temperament just sucks. His temperament sucks. He's a young guy, but again, a problem. Then on the wing, we have Romero. We have Royal injured. So we have a novice who's coming. But that's just recent, isn't it? He came in January. Pedro Porro came in January. So I think from January onwards, because we got all our points in the first half of the season, since after the World Cup, our back line has been totally rubbish. I've got to say, it's been rubbish. And then the midfield in front of them, we've been missing Bentancur. So we're left with those 3 guys up front to try and do all the magic, but they try and score.
And
look at our
in
scoring
that time, we've had Son being off form, right? And Kulusevski injured as well. Richarlison injured. So it's been a bit of a mixed bag of a season. I mean, plenty of expectation at the start of the season. It's gone to pots. I mean, that's a big contrast to where Man U are. I mean, on the face of form, I mean, we had our last game against Newcastle. Come on. A game we'll rather forget, but probably defining in many terms, because if you think about it, we go there, and this is one of the reasons why you have to give credit to some managers, right? Because people say Mr. Conte he was rigid. He wasn't changing his formation. He wasn't changing or bending, and he always played 3 at the back. And a lot of pundits will kill you and say, "Oh yes, Conte to change it to back 4, and play 3 in the middle and whatever." Guess what? They tried it against Newcastle and they got walloped. Now, I'm not saying it's a system thing but there's a reason why people do things that they do. You know, leave the experts who get paid the money to do what they need to do. They know the reason why they need to do what they do what they do. Now you go and change it. You know, listening to some pundits who don't know jack about your players. They don't, because if you think about it, right? I am not a coach. I don't have any coaching badges, but from the little I know about football, I know that Porro is not a fullback. He's a wing back. Why are you pretty much a fullback? The other guy on the other side, it's actually he's not even a wing back, it's a winger. What's his name? Perisic. You know, you pretty much a fullback. So you left with Dyer and Romero in the middle, who are not used to playing in the back four. So, I mean, they haven't played in the back four for almost 2 years now, you know. Suddenly, they ask them to play in the system. Now, you bring in 3 midfielders, right? Now, every one of those 3 midfielders is a defensive midfielder. There's no creativity there at all. You know, I mean, who does creativity? None. It's not Sarr. It's not Per Højbjerg or Skip. They're all defensive holding midfielders. So what's the point if you're going to have them in that role? And even the defense were meant to be defending. They didn't do the defending against Newcastle. So I don't know how that works. You know, so for me, I guess sacking Stellini is, I don't know, probably papering over the cracks at the core of where we are now as a club. But for me, I just think that people will just take a chill pill, you know, relax, and you know, it's one defeat. I mean, teams have had, you know, big losses in the course of the season, and no knee-jerk reaction, you know, just sort of take it on the chin and get to the players and say, look, you know, put that behind you and move on to the next game. Next game is not an easy one against Man United, who are resurgent at the moment. The last 3 matches. Okay, let's even have a look at the form guide for both teams, and you can talk us through this, Seyi. I mean, you're the guys who are doing well at the moment. So I know that if you look at the form guide now, I mean, okay, for us, we've won 2, lost 2, and drawn 2. It seems even on the face of it, but I mean, if you look at the last 3 matches, we lost 2, and the manner of those losses is just diabolical from our perspective. You know, the match that we won against West Bromwich Albion, Brighton and Hove Albion. On paper, we should have lost that match. You know, and we came away with that result almost like a fluke, because we had a lot of decisions that went for us on that day. If those decisions had gone against us, we'd have lost that match as well. So we drew against Everton. Everton, we shouldn't have drawn that game. They had 11 men, we had 10 men. They still came and drew against us. You know, Southampton were 3-1 up. I mean, all these matches just tell you that. I mean, the past 5 matches have just been absolutely diabolical. You know, absolutely. I mean, Conte left after the Southampton game. You know, but still, we still cannot excuse all of the things that have happened so far. For you guys, talk me through it, Seyi. Sorry, you're the guys who, you know.
Yeah, I think yes. We had a blip some time ago when we played Liverpool. I think that we didn't appear at the match after 42 minutes, and that was it. But we came back, and I think that since then we've done pretty well. The Newcastle game, I have to admit that Newcastle played very well. But don't forget that we've also had injuries. I've heard you speak about injuries. But we've had injuries. We've had, Rashford was a hot striker on form at the time, and then he's converted from the winger and he's played the striker role pretty much throughout the season. Martial has been nowhere to be found until a few months ago, and even then, he's still, I think, 50%. So we've had a lot of injuries. We had Casemiro, who was suspended for a foul, which I think was, seeing what's happening in the Premier League, it was extremely harsh. So we had Eriksen injured for months on end. So it's been a tough time for us. We had Varane injured at that time too. So it's been a very tough time for us as a team. But I think that we're getting our groove back. Unfortunately, we then lost the person who I think is one of the linchpin of the team, Lisandro Martinez. I'd have told you for sure that look, there's no way Tottenham would score in the next match if we had Lisandro Martinez and Varane, because I think that they understand themselves and they played well. But then our last match we had Shaw and what's his name? And Lindelof. And I think they played pretty well together. On the right, Aaron Bissaka has been tremendous. And, of late we've played Dalot on the left. So for me, that should be back four. I hope that he doesn't get tempted to bring Maguire back into the starting lineup. Because apart from the fact that it doesn't allow us to play high up the pitch, he seems to be running into some kind of bad luck, with the own goal, which he could do nothing about. All sorts of things that be happening with him. I suspect that his confidence is shot, so I just put him, that on the bench and play with that back four. Casemiro and Eriksen were my starting double pivot to that position, with Bruno ahead of him, ahead of them rather. But we don't know if Bruno's going to be fit. He limped off in the semi-final match in the FA Cup against Brighton a few days ago. So we hope that he's fully fit. But if he's not fit, then probably Sabitzer or Fred will come into that position. And on the left, Rashford, hopefully, and on the right, Anthony, who I had worries about him earlier in the season because I've seen him play and I know how good he is. But he just seemed to be very casual and playful. In the past few matches, I've seen some degree of seriousness. And he's actually good on the outside as well. He just needs to sort of blend in properly, know where to pass instead of shoot. The shots are not, if they're not precise, then they don't go in because they're not very hot shots anyway. And Martial, you never know what's going to happen with him. But I think he's getting fitter and fitter. On a good day, when Martial is fit, he's unstoppable. So, we have also had injury problems, and especially because we have had, I think, 52 games already played. It's beginning to tell on the team. Let's hope that we can push it across the line.
Yeah, so you guys had this bit of a setback against Sevilla, right? I mean, in a match where, on the face of it, in the first hour of the match, you guys were like 2-0 up, and like you were cruising, even up to about 88th minute, and then next thing you know, you have two bizarre own goals,
Right, yeah.
And which just turned the tide of the match. But on paper, you still had to go away to Sevilla and hold your own, but it just seemed like a car crash at that match. I mean, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think what happened in the match over there was, again, a bizarre piece of play between our goalkeeper and that man again, Maguire. So I think that the team did not know whether to go for it or to hold back and counter. So they were caught in between those two diverse strategies. So I think that's really what happened. And then when you got the second goal, it was just over. Unfortunately, we didn't have our two central defenders. I don't think Lindelof and Maguire have played together this season. I'm not quite sure. So it's tough. It was just a tough kind of match.
It's interesting though that, I mean, Maguire probably one of the most expensive defenders in English football, if not the most expensive, and you guys got him from Leicester at the time, and he obviously was assured.
We were scammed.
And there was this talk of some people saying that he might come to Spurs. I'm thinking, God forbid, please don't, please not.
With Dyer.
I think you've had fun throwing that season tickets away. I'm burning them the middle of the pitch, you know. But I mean, listen, we don't go after players here. So let's just, I mean, he's a player who's gone through his own bit of unfortunate set of circumstances. But hey, some coaches must have seen something good in him to have him in the team, and we don't play.
I just tell you, look, a few seasons ago, Maguire Lindelof partnership was one of the stingiest in Europe. So it's not as if he's a bad player. I just think that there's something maybe not right in his head, and then of course because he's had this unfortunate incidences, it's affected him adversely.
Yeah, it's probably affected his confidence. Yeah.
That really is it.
Yeah, that's it. This is the thing that coaches have to deal with in deciding who they're going to have in their team. Now, this is where we want to sort of do the Man U Tottenham 11, if you like, and see who we're going to have as 11. So this is how this is going to go, right? You guys are going to debate between two of you, i.e. Seyi representing Man United and Ben, you obviously representing Tottenham, and you're going to sort of nominate a player for each position. We're going to work on the basis of a back three, right? Now, if you work on the basis of back three, yes. So I mean, what are we doing? I think
we play back four.
You play back four. So we always play a back three. So okay, let's play a back four for the sake of this, right? So we play a back four, right? Ben, you want to say something? Sorry.
I was going to say we're going to have to play back four as well because we got Ryan Mason who plays back four. So we're going to play a back four as well.
Right. Okay. So fair enough. So we'll go for a back four, and then we'll look at what team we're going to have for this. Now this is what I have for predicted lineup for this. I put up the Man U players here. Let me just see if I can find the players who will make up the back the lineup for Tottenham, and then we'll see. Okay, so in goal, we have to choose between De Gea and either Lloris or Foster. Who do you think is going to play, Ben? Foster or Lloris?
Foster.
You reckon?
Lloris is a spent force.
Lloris has been sent for. Okay, that's a good one.
He swallowed 5 goals. He swallowed 5 goals, man. The guy saying feel muscle for a hip. For feel for your hand.
So
feel for your hand.
If we have to choose between De Gea and Mr. Lloris, who would you, I mean? So Seyi, let's start with you.
I'll go for De Gea.
You go for De Gea. Why?
I think he's a better shot stopper.
Okay.
Than the two that we speak about on that side, especially Lloris. And Lloris is a blunder a minute. So he's either very, very, very good or very, 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 very bad.
Well, having said that, though, if you think about you guys as well, Lloris, I mean, De Gea is also very error prone as well. He can be very error prone. I mean, and if you look at the last match against Sevilla, he essentially gifted them 2 goals for free.
No, I don't think so.
They didn't see that. They didn't see him.
I don't think so. No, wait, let me tell you. The first goal, if you see Maguire asked for the ball, and all he needed to have done was giving it back to him, to De Gea, and that was sorted it out. Because we had an exact, almost a replica. I don't know if you've seen that.
That clip, yeah, but it's easy to, it's easy for people to come out and say, yeah, this is what Martinez did,
We've seen it many times. So if Maguire asks for the ball, right, he ought to just have given it back to him. And I'm not saying the guy doesn't make mistakes as well, doesn't make blunders. But the thing is, there are few and far between. The truth is that they're exaggerated.
Mm-hmm.
Once he makes a mistake, there's a whole. But we all know Lloris is a blunder in minutes, or he's fantastic. So if we're going to go for 2, let's say, inconsistent goalkeepers. I think De
Right.
Gea
So
is the less
for you, De Gea, right? Okay. Not surprises there, but yes. So Ben, who would you go for?
I'd go for Lloris.
You
I'll
go
go
for
for
Lloris.
Lloris. Yeah, simply because I haven't watched the Gea. I haven't watched him, but anytime I hear about him, he's always a blunder and a half.
Yeah, he has the most number of clean sheets, by the way, in the Premiership.
Does he? Okay.
Yes, he does.
But
Right,
I'm not going to go.
Where so you go for Lloris and Ben. I mean, Shay goes for De Gea, right? I would probably go for De Gea on this one because Lloris on his own has cost us at least 3-4 matches this season. That's 12 points on his own. You know, so many matches. I've lost count of the number of blunders and errors he's made that sort of, I mean, you know, just thrown us under the bus on several occasions. You know, for me, it's not even. I mean, I think he just go. I mean, that's for me. I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure that he will cut it in comparison to De Gea. So I would go for Mr. David De Gea, right? So that's gone. That okay. So we're playing the back four. So full back on the right hand side, we got either Wan-Bissaka or Poro. Yes. So Ben, do you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, for tomorrow's match, I'll go for Wan-Bissaka.
Okay, I didn't even put Poro up. So yeah, so Wan-Bissaka goes in that position.
No need.
Martinez is injured, so that will leave him out, right? Dallo, what position does Dallo play?
Varane is injured as well.
Oh, Varane is injured as well. Okay. Right.
Maguire.
So in middle of the park, we have what? Dallo, Maguire, and Shaw. Dallo, Maguire, Shaw, and Lindelof. I mean, that's because sometimes Shaw plays on left side of the 3-man. Sorry?
There's Malacia.
Oh, Malacia. Okay, right. Okay.
Yes. So I'm thinking that we would have Dallo will be either on the right or on the left. And I'm thinking that you might play him on the left.
Right. Okay. So Dallo will be on the left of the back four, right?
No. Yes. Left of the back.
Left of the back four. And who will be on the other side? Maguire or Lindelof?
Maguire.
I think Lindelof. I think Lindelof and Shaw will be in the middle.
Okay.
Dallo on the left.
All right, so let's just hold on. Let's just hold it for there for a few seconds. Okay, we just sort of let's just hold it down for a few seconds. So on the Tottenham side of things, we'll probably have we agreed on Marseille. So we have Mr. What's the word? We have either
Romero.
Yeah, or we have Dyer in middle of the park. So those are the most likely, or Sanchez. I mean, those are the three people that are likely to play in those positions. So let's have a look. So for right of the central defense, who would you have between Romero and Lindelof, right?
Yes, Lindelof. Yeah.
So you go first, Uche.
I'll go with Lindelof.
Why?
Simply because he's extremely difficult to beat on the floor. To dribble past him is really difficult. I think Romero is a bit erratic. You know, he has a rush of blood to the head. That's my reading of him. I think he's a good player, but he has a rush of blood to the head and it's too erratic. I think Lindelof is a bit more stable. Romero is a better header of the ball than Lindelof, but in the all-round game, I think Lindelof. I'll go for Lindelof.
Okay, Ben, who would you go for?
Romero every day.
Right, so I think I'll go for Romero as well. So I think we'll have to have Romero in that position. Right, on the left-hand side of the center of the defense, we have Dyer. I think we'll probably go for Dyer instead of Sanchez. So let's just sleep Sanchez out for now, right? So We say Dyer. Who would you go for, Dyer or who are you having? Are you having Dalo or
Sure? No, sure.
Shaw? Okay, you're having Shaw. Okay, so we'll take out
Shaw on the wing? Shaw's on the wing.
Take out Maguire, right? So
no. Shaw has played in central defense because Eric Ten Hag likes a left footer on the left side of the central defense.
Yeah, okay, so
he's played there, and every time he's played there, we've had clean sheets.
Right, so you're going for Shaw, right? Who are you going for, Mr. Ben?
Well, I'll go for Shaw. Dyer's Dyer, Joe. I know. Me or Jisoro, Joe. Dyer is just too slow.
Right, so Shaw it is, right? Okay, right. So Dalo is who plays the right hand side? Dalo plays right for you guys, or left hand side rather?
Yeah, Dalo has in the past 4 games has played on the left hand side for in the back 4.
Right.
Malaysia was injured. So I think and he's played very well. So
I hear that Davies is back for us. Ben Davies. So if we have Ben Davies back, and also Longley is also back, who will we have in that position? Ben.
Davies all day long.
Right. Okay. So
Dependable Davies. That's his name. DD.
Right. So let's have a look. Hold on. Let me have a look and see what's happening here. Right, so you want Davis in that position, and you want Dalo, right? Presumably, right? Oh.
Yeah, no, I'll go with Davis.
You go with Davis, okay. Right, so let's go with Davis on that one. So that's settled. Malaysia can go in on the south bench. So in the middle of the park, this is where it gets interesting. So we have Eriksen, Fernandez, Casemiro, Sabitzer. On our own part, we have Bentancur is injured. Who else have we got there? We got Skip, Oliver Skip. Who else have we got?
Yeah.
We have Højbjerg, Skip, and Sa. My God, so it's not looking good, is it?
I'll only take Skip from there. I'll take Skip, but then up against Eriksen and Casemiro, I couldn't take them over those two. Eriksen and Casemiro are head and shoulders above the two we've got. If we had Bentancur, he would get in for sure.
So it's an all Man U midfield basically, right?
I'd say so.
I mean, it's very difficult to argue against, to be honest. So there you go. So it will be Eriksen, Fernandez, Casemiro, right?
Casemiro. Yes, yeah.
Right. So up front, where we have Son, Kane, and Kulusevski against Rashford, Martial, and Anthony. So, well, I think on the right hand side, we'll probably have Kulusevski up against Rashford. I think that's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Rashford plays other way.
Rashford's left.
Oh, Rashford's left. Sorry.
Yeah, so Anthony's on the other side.
Anthony's on the other side
with his multiple stepovers, with no end product.
Right. So who would you have? Kulusevski or Anthony?
8 goals rather. No. Then put up 8 goals. Okay, say so.
Okay, well.
Who's he going up against?
Unless Kulusevski. Kulusevski on his present form, Kulusevski can't get in.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from him lately. I was scared when you bought him, but lately I'll go for Anthony because one, his form is on the rise, and he walks back to defend quite a lot. I mean, he does his defensive duties. He takes that seriously. That's why I'll go for him.
Right. So I think Ben, what'd you say?
I'd have to go with Anthony because Kulusevski, he gets back to defend, but in defending, he hacks players down.
Right. So Anthony it is then, right? So that's fine. Right. In middle of the park, I think that's a no-brainer. It's got Mr.
No
Kane.
brainer. No
No
brainer.
brainer. No brainer. No brainer.
So
Painfully
that's no argument there, right? So Rashford or Son?
Son.
I think according for Rashford.
Okay, that's a difficult one. And I'll say why that's a difficult one. I like Son, but his form this season hasn't been stellar. So it's very difficult to sort of justify having him in that team, honestly. Against Rashford, and Rashford is on fire at the moment. So I would, even though I'm a Son. Say again?
Danjuma. Well, Danjuma or what's this guy's name?
Richarlison. Yeah, we're talking about starting 11 here, so most likely we'll have started. It won't start ahead of Son. I don't think we start ahead of Son. So, so I think yes, Rashford is gonna be. So yeah. So
there are very few people who have started ahead of Rashford in the Premier League this season.
Absolutely. So he's on fire this season. I mean, he's really good. So we can't fault his form this season. So it's a clear Man U win. I mean, according to this, because you've got 8 Man U players here, and then we have 3 Tottenham players. I mean, you know, but the crazy thing about football. Sorry,
that beast in front there, that guy.
Which one?
2 players, man. Kane.
I said, what did you say?
We have 4 players. He said we have 4 players. He said we have 4 players.
Yes, Kane is 2 players.
It's true now. Don't talk through that. We know.
That guy.
He's deadly. You know. Yes. I guess on the face of it,
he can play football. You know. So he's not just a goal scorer. He can actually play football. And yeah.
Yeah, so
we need to buy him.
Right. So thank you guys for this. So this is the Tottenham Manchester United 11 decided by Ben and Seyi. If you have any comments on what your own team would look like, let's have your say, and yeah, we'll see what you guys say. Leave your comments in the comment section below and tell us why you'd have different players in the positions that we've chosen tonight. Right, so scoreline prediction. This is the one that's people are going to sort of have all sorts of views on this, because I mean, even though on the face of it we've got eight Man U players against 3 Tottenham players. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean the match is going to end up in Man U's favor. But hey, we all know what football is like. But I'd love to hear from you. What you guys think the particular outcome will be for this match? Seyi, you go first.
I think there's going to be a 3-1 to United.
Okay, why?
I think that because with Kane, I just assume that in 90 minutes he will probably score a goal.
Okay.
But I think that I think the defense of Spurs is not strong enough to take Rashford. I mean the two fullbacks. I mean I think Ben Davies. I'm not sure he's completely fit. I think he's working his way back from injury, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that the little boy on the right can cope with Rashford. And I think that we have the 3 midfielders who really on each of them can create. Eriksen is a master, as far as I'm concerned. Even though Casemiro is a defensive midfielder, he still has the eyes for that goal. And we have Bruno. He not only has a pass in him, he has a goal in him. So I'm hoping that he's fit. If he is, then there's warning signals for that defense. Dyer and Romero, I'm not sure they're good fits. Dyer, I think, is too slow, not just physically slow, but his reaction time, I think, is quite poor. I'm surprised that he's still that central defense for Spurs. I must be honest with you. He was too slow in the middle, which is why he was moved back. And then, even then, if he had a good shield in front of him, a bit like Maguire, if he had a good shield in front of him, he's okay. Romero, as I said earlier, I think he's too rash. I think he's a talented footballer any day, but I think he's too rash. And if we have Bruno playing, he can tempt him into taking some rash decisions. That's what I think. All of this, I'm basing on the fact that Maguire is not in the starting 11. And we have Lindelof and Shaw.
Great. So thanks very much for that, Shay. Now, I mean, I love how you've described one of our key players, one of our longest serving servants at the club, Mr. Dyer. Reg Dyer. I mean, Reg Dyer has done a lot of good work in the past. I mean, I know he's probably been a lot of fingers are pointing at him at the moment as far as performances have been concerned, and he always sort of has what you might call. He creates it's like Marmite, isn't it? Some people that like him, on people others just totally don't like the fact that he's still with us. But there you go. That's it's neither here nor there. Ben.
Yeah.
What's your predicted scoreline?
2-2.
Why'd you say that?
I think it's going to be. I think that there's going to be a reaction from our players. These are the same players who destroyed Man City. Okay. They didn't wait. I mean, you look at the way they played against Newcastle. They weren't ready. It's like almost like the manager told them they're going to play 4 at the back, and the 2 guys at the back just played crap. If you look at the second half of the match, when they were playing they were comfortable in their 5 at the back. They kept Newcastle at bay. Okay, Newcastle turned it down as well, I suppose. But they made less mistakes. I think if we have Ben Davies back and we push what's his face up front, because I think that we're going to be playing with Perisic in place of Son. I think Son's going to have to come on as a sub. We've seen that happen. Every time we play Son as a sub, he scores. Can't start him. So I think we should have Kulichev's Perisic where Son is, and we'll have Ben Davies at right back, at left back. And I think we'll be more rigid. I think Man United will come to players thinking that they'll score 7 goals, but they will ship 2, and we'll ship 2 as well, and it'll be a 2-2 draw. That's what I predict.
All right. So
can I just show you? Can I show you this? I see what this is.
What's that? No, we can't see it.
Okay. It's a pocket.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And that pocket belongs to Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Okay.
Whoever plays that wing is in his pockets. Whoever it is.
Okay.
Right.
So we go see now.
Thankfully, I mean, games aren't won on air, so everyone on the pitch. So, so I think the key.
You can do your best. You can do your best to be on air.
Absolutely. So I think the key really for me, and what I found with Tottenham is that on a good day they can beat any team. On their day they can beat any team, and that includes Man City, Chelsea, everybody. And they've proven that this season, especially when it comes to the key matches. If you look at all, I mean, I guess everyone will tell you this for their team as well, that any time they lose a match, it's because somebody made an error. Of course, I mean, yes, of course. But most of the matches that we lost at home this season have been down to diabolical errors on part of our players. Cut out those errors, of course. I mean, of course, no team will win any match. But hey, what I'm saying is essentially here is that look, I actually think there will be a reaction on Thursday. I'm hoping for a birthday present. My guys, thank you guys. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I hope they give me a good birthday present on that day. And yeah, I mean, and everyone calls me the eternal optimist. I think we'll come away with maybe with 2-0, or worst case 2-1, 2-1, 2-1 win. You know, Kane and Son to score. That's what I think would happen. I think there will be a reaction, and also the new manager bounce as well. Even though it's been there with them, but at least he'll play a different system, and they want to impress. And don't forget that they're still hurting in their pockets. You know, they refunded they refunded away fans for the man. I'm not sure they want to refund the whole stadium when if Man U come knocking and they have a bad loss. But anyways, on a serious note, yes, I think we'll come away with we'll get the results. You know, but yeah, Seyi, it's been fantastic having you. Thank you for coming. I know that yes, I always love it when I hear from the other side, and you guys, I know in the past you guys used to be really smug and super confident coming to Tottenham. I mean, but that has changed, thankfully, in the last few years. And yes, it's probably going to be a much more balanced match.
Last time we were there, it was a three-goal win, by the way. Last time we were there, so.
Well, I mean, we all know why that happened, but there you go. But that's we won't go there. I know.
Ronaldo don't go now.
You guys were also at the end of a 6-1 loss to us at Old Trafford as well. So hey, I mean, all these things happen before, you know.
Oh.
So I mean, anyway.
Oh, 6-1. Oh.
Yes, it was 6-1. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Old Trafford for that matter as well, you know. Yeah. So anyway, that's history. We're here now. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. And yeah, we look forward to the match on Sunday. In the meantime, or on Thursday rather. Come on, you Spurs. Take care, guys.
Okay, take care. Thanks.
Take care. Bye.